Welcome to the PERS webinar. This system is your agency voice to other users within the products that you use and also to the Vertafore development team for those specific products. If your product includes a send feedback button, send feedback differs from PERS. PERS is actually a request that you would put into the system. Other users vote on your request, and your request would be a build out of a new feature or add-ons to a current feature, while feedback is the voice back to the development team telling how the system is working, how a feature is working, and a problematic issue within your agency for a feature. If you go to the NetVU website and you do not know your username or password, in the upper right corner you can click on the Contact Us button, and the folks at NetVU will contact you and let you know your username or password. To begin a PERS request, you would log on to the NetVU website. You can see the login at the upper right corner of your screen. You're going to go to Services. You're going to go down to the PERS system hyperlink. You'll see a screen that explains what PERS is, a guide that if you wanted to look at and see how to put a PERS in and the definitions of the screens and how they are perceived, you can use the user's guide. At the bottom, you would click here to get you started with your PERS. You may reach a security warning that is asking you to make the PERS site as well as the Vertafore site trusted sites. You'll want to say yes and make sure those save on your system. Once done, you will be migrated to the My Vertafore website. You can go direct to the My Vertafore website as well to put in a PERS request. You will see in the upper right, once again, you will need a username and password. You request this username or password from Vertafore. Once into that system, you will see the PERS link. You will click on the PERS and you will migrate into the PERS system. You'll want to browse the PERS content and make sure your particular request is not already in the system. If it is in the system, those reviewing your PERS will mark your request as a duplicate. So it does benefit you to ask a question and look for what you are asking to put into the system. You can actually ask the question in a broad form in the PERS system just by putting in your management system as the title and look through the PERS that are currently in the system. The PERS system has been around for many years. There is a database at Vertafore of all prior PERS requests, and once this new system was put into place, those were archived for future development. So nothing was lost, everything was gained by the user group. But we do have a new system that has all new PERS requests that have been put in the last 14 to 18 months. You cannot find your particular request, you should click the Enter the PERS button that you will see in the upper left of your screen. This will allow you to create new PERS requests. We ask you to title the request at the very beginning with your platform or your product. So for example, Sajida would put Sajida first. Producer Plus would put Producer Plus first. WorkSmart would put WorkSmart in the beginning of the title so that as these are distributed for ease and convenience and speed, they can be easily distributed to the specific R&D and review teams. We ask in your business justification for you to tell us what is happening and what isn't happening, so that we can put together a business project plan of why this is needed. We do ask that you end your PERS with your name, your agency contact information, and an email. This is strictly so that if we need to have some clarification on the PERS, that we can contact you quickly and easily. Additionally, when your PERS is developed, we want to be able to contact you and get your feedback to make sure it is what you were requesting and envisioning with your enhancement. You can see here from this screen how that would look. At 360, add ability to schedule download reports. The download reports are one of the reports that can't be scheduled. Please add the ability to add these as scheduled reports. This is telling the difficulty and a resolution that you would like to see. Once you will be taken back to ask a question, and you can see your PERS at the beginning once it is triggered. All PERS that are put into place are referred to an R&D process and a group of certification folks for AMS 360 that review the PERS, make sure it makes sense, and look at validity of that PERS request. They also make sure that if it is already available, it will contact you as an education piece to let you know how the feature works today and make sure that we're not misunderstanding something on your PERS request. Once that is done and it is triggered active, you will find the PERS in the listing of PERS requests. You will pull up the PERS request, and you can see at the bottom of the screen, this is how users vote on that enhancement request. As feature sets are looked at throughout different products, the PERS are taken into account, and the number of votes and how agencies vote on a PERS are taken into account. So you'll want to vote on PERS. If you subscribe to PERS, and you'll see subscribe up in the upper right corner, that will let you get an email so that you know when this PERS changes in any way. If you have a question on it, you can post those questions on NCOM, and the users will respond to you, which is also monitored by NetVU. Thank you so much, and have a great day.